Seattle's wealthy district of Queen Anne glittered with luxury homes and sweeping views of the bay. Among them stood the Hayes Mansion, tall iron gates, a manicured lawn, and white stone walls that glistened in the rain. To outsiders, it was the picture of success. Inside, however, lived a boy whose heart carried more loneliness than any child should bear. Ethan Hayes, only 8, wandered through the long hallways like a ghost. The marble floors echoed under his tiny sneakers as he carried a worn sketchbook in his hand. He loved drawing superheroes, gardens, and animals, anything that helped him escape reality. But reality was cruel. His stepmother, Victoria Hayes, ruled the house with a sharp tongue and a colder heart. To the neighbors, she was elegant, perfect hair, pearls, and dazzling smiles. To Ethan, she was the shadow that swallowed his childhood. "Why are you scribbling again?" she snapped one afternoon, snatching his sketchbook from him. "This is nonsense. Go do something useful." Ethan's face flushed red. "It's my drawing. I wanted to show Dad when he comes home." "Your father doesn't care about silly doodles," Victoria said with a smirk. She tore a page and tossed it into the trash. That evening at dinner, Victoria set the table lavishly for her daughter Lily. Golden chicken, mashed potatoes, warm bread, but Ethan's plate carried only a small piece of meatloaf and a spoonful of peas. "Eat," she ordered. Ethan chewed quietly, his eyes glancing at the empty chair at the head of the table, where his father should have been. But Richard Hayes was in San Francisco on a business trip. Another deal, another investment, another absence, and Ethan suffered in silence. Ethan tried to be brave. He never told his father the truth because Victoria's threats were sharper than knives. "If you ever tell Richard, I'll make sure you regret it," she hissed one night as she shoved him into his room. "Do you want him to send you away to boarding school? Do you want to lose the only parent you have left?" The words sank into Ethan's heart. He loved his father deeply. Even though Richard wasn't home often, whenever he was, he gave Ethan warm hugs and asked about his day. Ethan feared losing that small comfort. At school, Ethan was quiet. His teachers noticed the worn shoes, the tired eyes, but Victoria always dismissed it as, "He's just shy. He doesn't need much." And who would dare argue with a millionaire's wife? One rainy afternoon, Ethan sat by the window sketching his mother's favorite flowers, roses. His real mother had died when he was only 3, but he remembered her voice faintly, singing lullabies in the garden. Tears slipped down his cheeks as he whispered, "Mom, I miss you." Suddenly, the door slammed open. Victoria entered, frowning. "Crying again? Pathetic. Clean yourself up before Lily sees you. She doesn't need to live with a weakling brother." Ethan quickly hid his sketchbook under the bed. Victoria left with a cruel smile. "Remember, your father listens to me, not you." Little did she know, her illusion of control was about to shatter. Friday evening, Richard Hayes landed back in Seattle 2 days ahead of schedule. He had closed his deal early and wanted to surprise his family. Driving through the rain-slicked streets, Richard thought about Ethan. He had promised himself to spend more time with his son, but work always pulled him away. Guilt pressed on him. Maybe tonight, he thought, he could make it up with ice cream and a movie together. As the car pulled into the driveway, Richard noticed the lights in the kitchen. He entered quietly, hoping to sneak in. But then he froze. Victoria's sharp voice echoed, "You'll eat what I give you. Do you understand?" Richard peered inside. His heart stopped. There was Ethan, sitting at the table with a tiny portion of food. Tears welled in his eyes as he whispered, "I'm still hungry." Victoria slammed a spoon down. "Be grateful. My daughter deserves more. You should be lucky you even have a plate." Richard's jaw tightened. For the first time, he saw what he had missed all these years. His son looked so small, so broken. "Victoria!" Richard's voice boomed, startling them both. She spun around, plastering a fake smile. "Richard? You're home early. What a surprise." But Richard's eyes were only on Ethan. "Son, come here." Ethan leapt into his father's arms, trembling. Richard held him close, feeling the frailness of his little body. "Tell me," Richard whispered, "has this been happening for a long time?" Victoria quickly cut in. "Oh, Richard, don't listen to him. Children exaggerate." "Enough," Richard's voice thundered. He looked at Ethan, whose lips quivered. She doesn't love me, Dad," Ethan whispered. She's mean when you're gone. She hurts me. Richard's chest tightened with rage and heartbreak. The truth he had been blind to was now undeniable. That night, Richard's house shook with confrontation. Victoria tried to defend herself, but the staff finally spoke up. "Sir, Mrs. Miller," the housekeeper said softly, "the boy is telling the truth. We've seen it. We wanted to protect him, but we feared losing our jobs." Richard looked at Victoria, his face cold as stone. "Pack your things. You're leaving tonight." "Richard, please," she begged. "You need me. He's just a child. He doesn't understand." "He understands love and you don't. Get out." By morning, Victoria was gone, her charm and lies crumbling into nothing. Richard filed for divorce and sought full custody of his son. In the weeks that followed, Richard's life changed. He cut back on business trips, spending evenings at home. He sat with Ethan in the garden, helping him plant roses, the very flowers his late mother had loved. One evening, Ethan showed him a drawing of their family, his dad, himself, and a garden full of roses. "It's us," Ethan said shyly. "A real family." Richard hugged him tightly. "Yes, son. From now on, no one will ever hurt you again. I promise." For the first time in years, the Hayes mansion no longer felt empty. Its walls no longer echoed with silence and cruelty, but with the laughter of a boy finally free.